There seems to be a little bit of a divide about using RV covers. There's some people that just do not like them, don't use them, don't think that they're necessary, and some people that even think that they damage your RV. But I'm a really big proponent for using them, especially for weather like this today. So in this video, I'm going to go over all of those common concerns that people have and also share all of the reasons why I think it's a good investment for your RV. I'm also going to show you the way that I'm able to easily put this cover on by myself in less than 15 minutes. So if you're thinking about getting one or are on the fence about using one, stay tuned because this video is for you. Hi, it is pouring outside. The weather has just been so crazy lately, so I thought I would do this video today from the inside of the RV. It's a little bit dark and I had to turn on all the lights, but it's because I have my cover on and it's blocking the windows. But I thought it was the perfect place to do the video today since we're talking about RV covers. If you're like me and are a part-time or seasonal RVer, then there are going to be times when your RV will sit unused and have to be parked or stored for an extended period of time. I think a lot of people assume because RVs are designed to be outside or outdoors that it's okay to just leave them out in the elements all year round. And while technically that's true, just like anything you leave outside, whether it's your car, furniture, or like buildings or anything you leave outside, eventually the weather and the elements are going to wear on it. So keeping it protected is going to help prevent leaks. It's going to protect it from water or sun damage. It's going to extend the life of your RV, and it'll actually also reduce the amount of maintenance you'll have to perform on it every year. If you're lucky enough to have a large garage or some kind of tall covered space, of course that would be ideal. I was really hoping Mr. Green would fit underneath my covered carport, but he is about 1.5 feet too tall, and I was just so bummed that he wouldn't fit because that would have been the perfect place. So I was trying to find a solution to keep Mr. Green protected. If you've seen any of my older videos, you'll know that I spent a lot of time, money, and energy fixing the roof and resealing it. So I want to keep it protected as long as possible so I can avoid doing that again for a very long time. So if you're like me and you don't have another place to store your RV that's covered or indoors, an RV cover could be a good option for you. But I know some people have concerns, so today I'm going to go through each of the concerns that I know about, and hopefully it'll help you make a better and more informed decision. I think one of the bigger concerns people have about using a cover is that they worry about the constant movement the fabric has against the paint, that the constant rubbing will eventually cause scratches, abrasions, or damage to your exterior finish. And I think if you use something like a tarp with ropes or bungee cords to try to secure it to your rig, yeah, you definitely run that risk of causing damage. But when you purchase an RV cover that's specifically designed for your type of RV and the size of your RV, it's going to fit really nice, especially when you use the straps and tie downs that are part of the cover system. It's going to fit really nice and snug. Plus, the material that an RV cover is made of is going to be soft and won't cause damage to your paint. We've had a lot of windstorms lately, but as you can see, even on a really gusty day like this, the cover isn't flapping around or slapping up against the RV, and there's just really not a whole lot of movement with the cover. I think another concern people have is they worry that when you cover your RV, you end up trapping all of the moisture underneath the RV cover, and that could encourage mold and mildew to start growing. Again, I think if you used something like a tarp or some sort of plastic material that is waterproof, you do run that risk because it doesn't allow any airflow through that. However, when you purchase an RV cover that's specifically designed to fit well and it's made of the right materials, it's going to breathe a lot better. There are vents strategically placed throughout the RV cover that will allow air to flow in and out. And also the material, I don't know how they do it, but it's water resistant. Like you can see the water beading off of it, but it also allows it to breathe and it dries very quickly. I've noticed that even when it's pouring down rain and the RV cover is wet, if it stops raining within an hour or two, the cover is dry completely. So I think if you use a cover that's designed specifically for an RV, you don't have that problem of mold and mildew building up. When I first got my RV, I talked to one of my neighbors who has a trailer and asked if he recommended getting a cover for it. Now, he was pretty negative about it. He just said that they're just such a pain to put on and take off. And here in Washington, it rains all the time. So he said it's just, you can never, you're not supposed to put it on when it's wet. Or if you try to take it off when it's already wet, then you just end up with this big pile of fabric that's just soaking and heavy and wet, and it starts to smell and grow mold, and it was just such a pain. And so he was quite negative about it, but I went ahead and bought one anyway, and I found that none of that was true. Like I mentioned a minute ago, the fabric is specifically designed to repel water and be breathable and also dry really quickly. So despite what everybody thinks about Washington, it doesn't rain all the time. There are plenty of days, even weeks sometimes in the wintertime, where it's not raining at all. So there are plenty of opportunities where you can put it on or take it off when it's not wet. And as you will see in a minute, it's actually quite easy to put the cover on. Of course, it's not as convenient as just opening the garage door and driving off, but it doesn't take that much time, and it's something that I'm able to do by myself within 10 to 15 minutes. So to me, spending that extra time and having my RV covered while it's sitting there parked, it's just worth it to me, and it just gives me a lot of peace of mind. The last concern I want to talk about is cost. Of course, it costs a little bit more money to cover your RV than to not cover it, but to me, I think there is so much more value and benefits that a cover will give to you that far outweigh the impact of the price. It's actually not as much money as you may think. It's not as much money as I thought it was going to be to buy an RV cover. I was able to find this one on Amazon for less than $300. When I first brought Mr. Green home, I looked into how much it might cost to modify my existing carport or rebuild one, or even purchase one of those metal covered RV like sort of sheds that they have available. And those either of those options ended up being thousands and thousands of dollars, and that was just money that I didn't have. So spending a couple $100 was the next best solution for me, and I'm really happy with the cover. After everything that I did in the summer to, fix it and repair it and reseal the roof, I am just left with so much peace of mind knowing that having the cover is just protecting the RV, and it's going to extend the life of my RV. And when it's pouring outside and dumping rain, I don't have to worry that, oh my God, something might be leaking out there or anything like that. I can just know that it's safe and protected, and that to me is worth a couple $100 that I spent on the cover. Now that I was able to show you how beneficial it is to have an RV cover, I'm going to show you how easy it is to put one on. The first thing I do is unpack it and unroll it and then lay it out flat onto my driveway. The cover should be labeled front and back, and so I make sure I have it in the same direction as the RV just to make it easy. Once it's laid out, I then will go around and turn it inside out. The next thing I do is start to roll it from the back end towards the front. Now, this doesn't have to be all neat and tidy or rolled tightly. It's really just to make it easier to carry. Once you have it rolled up, take it to the back of the RV, and you want to be careful where you place it. You don't want it to be on anything sharp or poking out of the ground that might cause it to tear or damage the cover. Once you have it in place, you want to grab the front end of the cover and slowly start to make your way up the RV, pulling it as you go. And again, you want to be careful during this part. You don't want it to catch or snag on anything while you're pulling it up that's going to cause it to tear or damage the cover. Once you have most of the cover up onto the roof, now you can start spreading out the cover and throwing the sides of the cover off of the edge of the RV, starting from the front and working your way towards the back. As you start to spread the cover out, you're going to end up covering all of your rooftop appliances, and you won't be able to see where they are. So you want to be really careful where you end up stepping. You don't want to accidentally break anything up there, and most importantly, you want to be careful where you step because you could easily trip and fall off of the top of the roof and cause some serious injuries. Now this part might not apply to your rig, but on mine, I have this sort of luggage railing that goes around the perimeter of the back of my roof. And what ends up happening when I put the cover on is that it basically creates this swimming pool up there, and water, and I mean a lot of water, ends up puddling up there. But what I found was an easy solution was to take a couple of inflatable pool rafts that I had and placing them up there, and it ended up filling up that void and creating a high point so that water wasn't able to pool up there anymore. Once those were in place, I continued to pull the cover down the sides of the RV. Oh, and I forgot to mention that it's a good idea to also try to cover any sharp edges or protruding parts that could potentially tear the cover. For me, I just used these leftover pool noodles that I had, and I cut a slit down the length of it and was able to put that on the edge of my ladder that has some sharp metal edges, and it worked out perfectly. Once those were in place, I was able to finish pulling the rest of the cover down the side of the RV. And the last step is to connect all of the straps and cinch them down to create a nice snug fit all the way around. And what's really nice about these covers is that it doesn't hinder your access to the RV. You can still go in and out of your RV very easily with these roll-up sections. And there you have it. Your RV is now safe and protected. I like to think of it as a very large, warm blanket for your RV. Thank you so much for watching today. I hope the information I provided helps you decide whether you should get an RV cover or not. I truly believe it's such a good thing to do for your RV. I mean, you've already spent so much of your money and time and energy invested in your RV. Why not protect it as much as possible and extend the life of it as much as possible so you can enjoy your RV for many, many years to come. Coming up, I have a lot of more videos and content that I have in the queue. I'm trying to get on a more regular schedule like I had when I first started making these videos. My life is stabilized a little bit more lately, so I hope to see you back here again next week. But until then, Happy New Year and stay warm and safe out in this crazy weather.